guys, I'm Lizzie. If you can't do this one thing with your horse, then you shouldn't be riding them. And that is bringing your horse's head to their side before you get on. And I want to go over why it's so important and why all the good trainers will tell you to do this before mounting your horse. Now, a lot of trainers will tell you to do this, but they don't really explain why. And I think they kind of miss the point, and they teach it in kind of a rushed way, which kind of defeats the purpose, in my opinion. So what they tell you to do is that when you go to get on, you grab your rein and you pull your horse's head to their side so the nose is touching you. Maybe not touching you, but close to you. Now that is the goal, but not really the journey, if you know what I'm saying. Now the reason we do this is to basically make sure that our horse is present and can answer a question. It's really important that you're able to bring your horse's head to your knee when you're on their back, so it's kind of a safety thing to just make sure that you can do it before you get on. So if I asked Stella a question, I brought my hand down and I just asked a question by putting a little pressure on the rein and just holding it there, would she respond? Good girl, very good. Now she's a bit distracted, it's windy, it's winter, but eventually she did bring her head to me and she asked me what I wanted. And that was the result that I wanted. So she might be a little bit uptight and distracted right now, but she's still present with me. Now the difference between that and just grabbing your horse and pulling their head to their side is that I'm not asking her, I'm forcing her. And she's not interacting with me or asking me what I want. She is being forced to have her head to my side. It doesn't mean that she's thinking about me. See, if I force her head to her side right now, she's still aware, but usually what you would see is the horse's head comes to their side, but their eyes are still looking somewhere else, their ears are still thinking about something else, and they're not really responding, they're just releasing pressure. It's not even releasing pressure, they've just softened their head. So what I've seen Clinton Anderson teach is that you just want to sit here and you want to pull your horse's head to their side over and over and over again, just to loosen that hinge kind of thing. And that's not teaching your horse anything, but to kind of become dull to pressure. If I'm just pulling her head to their side the whole time, my hand never stops moving and follows her head follows my hand all the way in, that's me doing all of the work. I'm forcing her head in, I'm not getting a response, I'm just getting movement, which isn't really the goal for what we want. That doesn't mean your horse is present, that doesn't mean that they're soft, it doesn't mean that they were responding to pressure, it just means that you can do that. So let's paint a picture. If you are trying to communicate with somebody who doesn't speak the same language as you, and you wanted to ask them if they wanted a glass of water. Now you would say, do you want a glass of water? And they don't know what that means. So are you going to resort to, do you want a glass of water? That's not going to help them understand anything, but make them a little bit frustrated and ticked off at you. What the more strategic way and the more helpful way to help them understand what you're trying to ask them would be to grab a glass, put water in it, and be like, water. Try to break it down and try to take one word out of that sentence and help them understand slowly what you're trying to ask them. So they can understand what you're trying to ask them, but you have to break it down and have to associate a word with an object of something that you're trying to ask them. And eventually they'll understand that you were asking them if they want water. Now the same goes for when you're trying to teach a horse something. Basically we're trying to communicate with an animal that doesn't speak our language. So if we are asking them something, they don't respond or know what we're asking, we don't just get louder and yell or force. We change our approach and be like, okay, well, if you don't understand what this means, then do you understand what this means? And slowly try to, okay, where is the hole? How are they not understanding? What can I do to help them understand instead of forcing? Now, if I was gonna go get on Stella right now, I would obviously want her to be present and aware, make sure that she knows that I'm getting on her back. Even though I'm super comfortable with Stella, I know her personality super well, it's still smart to make sure that your horse is aware of you. If you try to go get on your horse when they are distracted, not paying attention, it's a much higher risk of them spooking or being unaware of what you're doing, and so something that you do might take them by surprise because they're not paying attention to you. Especially when there's something like high winds or other things happening around them that they are a little bit uptight about. A lot of times in my videos I will mount Stella without having collection on her rein. I always get people correcting me, being like, that's so dangerous, you have to have a collection on your horse because they could spook when you're mounting them. But I always make sure that my horse is very aware and present with me before I mount. That way she doesn't get surprised by anything. She understands what's going on and we've communicated. So what I'm looking for when I ask Stella to bring her head to her side before I get on is I want her to be fully aware. I want her eyes on me. I want her ears on me. I want her to check me out. I want her to go, yeah, what do you want? Because I'm asking a question right there. Good girl. And I want a response. I want to make sure that we're communicating before I get on her back. Now, the way to achieve this isn't by grabbing your horse's head and forcing it to their side over and over and over again. That's not going to get you anything but a dull head. What you want to do when you start training this is to put a slight pressure on the horse's rein, and you're just going to sit there. And you're looking for some sort of indication that they feel that pressure. Whether that is a slight release in the head, or their ear flick at you, or maybe their eye will look back at you. You want some indication that they are thinking about that pressure. You're not sitting there waiting for the perfect response when you first go to ask this question. You're breaking it down. You're seeing if they understand what this pressure means, just like you would try to break it down for somebody who doesn't speak your language and try to get them to understand water before asking them the full sentence. So you start by putting a slight pressure. As soon as you get that ear, you let go. You put a slight pressure, you let go. We're not bringing the head to their side. The horse is doing that. The horse is bringing their head to their side. We're not doing that. All we're doing is we're putting a slight pressure right here, and we'll let them come to our hand, and our hand doesn't move. Good girl. And that's how you make sure your horse is present and aware of you, and that's going to make your mount experience a lot safer. Can I have your head? Can I have your head? Can I have your head? Good girl. Good girl. Can I have your head? Good. Good. Good job. Nope. Good job. And then obviously after you've mounted your horse, you want to make sure that you can bring their head to their side on both sides with the same amount of pressure that you can on the ground. Good girl. That'll just ensure that your horse is present, is stable, is thinking about you, and is responsive. If your horse can't do any of those things, you've got a rigid, uptight, unresponsive horse, which is not a very safe horse. But that's it for this video. I hope you guys learned something. If you did, give it a big like and subscribe. You can go follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I post new videos every single Sunday, so don't forget to come back next week, Sunday. Also, Merry Christmas, and I'll see you before the new year. Bye!